So now I want to just give chance to Michael Louis, our next speaker. Michael Cassidy briefly referred to him. Michael is a real leader in our nation. The Lord has raised him up for a time such as this. He has walked a long journey in business, in politics, and now in a new phase of independent candidacy. So Michael, welcome, and please share what the Lord put on your heart. Thank you.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. I must be a bit vulnerable with you. I'm a bit emotional. I've got no idea why, but suppose because I've been preceded by one of my greatest mentors and a person that I've truly loved for my walk of nearly 28 years. Those that don't know, when we formed the Christian Democrats in 1994, I promise you there was one great man behind us, and that was Michael Cassidy, always inspiring us, always sharing his wisdom. And I think one of the traits of a great leader is consistency. He's been consistent from 1994 right up to now. And Michael, I promise you that you're still an arm bearer to all the leaders. We also need to look up to people. And what a great privilege it's to look up to a man like you and the great work that you've done. Please don't stop. Please don't let us down. We need you for a long, long time. And so God grace you with good health and lots of protection. If I can just allude in my introductory remarks just to two things that Michael has said. Most of them are, both of them are very constructive. The one thing is to say when he referred to the preamble of the Constitution, because of the work of what Christians have done to get into Parliament, never underestimate the one with God is a majority. And in alluding to that, they said that the preamble wouldn't be constitutional was not a right comment. And I'm pleased to say that I was one of the drafters of the Western Cape Constitution, where we insisted that the clause in the preamble should be under humble submission to Almighty God. They also went against us to say that it won't be past the constitutional muster. It was passed, and today we have got a Western Cape Constitution under humble submission to Almighty God. I'll rather not say that's why we're a little bit more blessed. I might not be very popular. But the reason why I'm saying it, Christians, we need to stand up in our nation, because once we get into government, it will be one of the first attributes to our attaining governance in this country is to change the preamble under humble submission to Almighty God. That is definitely a total commitment. And then the third thing, I will think it's wrong of me not to also just add the great work of many of the individuals on this call. And everything I'm saying, it's got nothing really to do with me. It's the collaborative collaborative efforts of a lot of great leaders that are on this call. And Anna, if you could remember when we started the New Nation movement, when I first started talking about the bill in Johannesburg, those meetings, how we did the presentations, the work that you've done, but people like Pearl Coupe. And then, Michael, I do believe that we need to add to the great work that was started by African Enterprise at Bella Bella, that the School of Governance has been started with a great person like Gareth Stead that has stood very kindly, being a strong arm bearer to me. And right up to date, I think we've trained 120 people by virtue of biblical worldview and civic training because of the great work of African Enterprise. And I will allude to it just at the end of my talk. But just because of limited time, colleagues, I'm going to zoom in. And really, my heart this morning is not really too much on the detail, but this is the time for you to be obedient. And I need to really share with you that my whole journey for the last 28 years has only been based on obedience. I'm definitely not more gifted, not more talented than any person on this call. It was just that I prayed that God, I've just given myself available, and God has equipped the tools to be able to affect change. And I promise you, it's better than better. Never, never did I expect that we will be in the position today that we are and how God has gone ahead. So I just wanting to, I'm going to focus a little bit on the law just to give foundation. I'll spend 5 minutes on that. And then I'm going to talk about where we're at with the local government elections, and then closing with the School of Government. So can you see all that?
Yes.
Thank goodness for that. Okay, thank goodness for that. Thank you for being patient. Colleagues, basically, when we talk about that we are a country of law citizens, there are basic pillars that I believe that our plight as righteous rulers that we must base our lives on. The first one is the Freedom Charter, second, the Preamble, and then the Bill of Rights, and then a quote that I believe is very important. So I just want to, none of us really understand how powerful the Freedom Charter is that we as legislators in 1994 or 1996 for the Constitution based our Constitution on. And look what the the Congress of the Charter and the Freedom Charter of 1955 spoke about, which the governing party very, very often mentions. And there it says, we will strive together, sparing neither strength nor courage, until the democratic changes here set out will have won. The very first principle, listen to that, the very first principle in the Freedom Charter to be fought and won is the people shall govern. The people shall govern. And that every man and woman shall have the right to vote and stand as a candidate, and bodies make the laws. It doesn't say the political party shall govern, it's the people shall govern. The second one is the Preamble, which is just as important because that's what Michael spoke about. We, the people of South Africa, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, recognize the injustices of the past, honor those that have suffered, respect those who have worked, believe that South Africa belongs to all that live in it, and therefore through freely elected representatives adopt this constitution, heal the division, lay the foundations of a democratic and open South Africa, and improve the quality of life of all citizens, free from the potential of each person. A very powerful preamble. And then the next one is the political rights, which we all know and spoken a lot about, is that the political rights is that every citizen will have the free to make political choices, but then it has in that section 3 says that every adult citizen has the right to vote in elections, and then B, more importantly, to stand for public office if elected to hold office. Now, colleagues, the greatest right in a constitution is the Bill of Rights. And there it very clearly says in 3B, every adult citizen has the right to stand for public office, and hence the constitutional court case. But now I'm wanting to come to my last statement, my third last slide, which is really one of my favorite slides. It says the following: you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. So bad luck, guys. For us to get new electoral leaders in the current system is not going to change. We have to have a new model, and hence our whole system of change to get independent candidates in, and section 15 that I'm going to talk about. My second last slide is the following: why are we in the problems that we are in? And look at this slide. If we see the elections since 1994, where we had nearly an 80% electoral base, now you can see with this slide of the voting patterns in South Africa that we are now under 50% of voters actually voting. And on the right-hand slide, you'll see that in all the countries in the world, South Africa is one of the 5th lowest voting turnouts in the entire world, which says the following: We are the only country in the world where the non-voters in our country are 19.7 million people, while our voters are 17.6 million. So 17.6 million people are voting for the majority of 19.7 million people that are not going to the polls. And the only way we can do it is to get a new model to get more voters to the polls. And the young people especially are saying, show us the leaders, show us the system to get us there. So I think just as those were just some introductory foundational slides that I just wanted to bring to your attention. So what has happened? We started drafting, as you know, it was a 4-year journey going to the Constitutional Court with a collaboration of a lot of parties, a lot of drive, a lot of hard work, and a miracle, a major miracle happened in the 11th of June last year, where the Constitutional Court in a majority judgment said that the Electoral Act is unconstitutional. We have to redraft it. And with a group of 7 legal technical people led by myself, we drafted a new bill that is currently in Parliament. And I can tell you now that the Ministerial Advisory Committee came out with a report 2 weeks ago, actually going further than what we have gone, where we divided the country into 54 constituencies. They divided the country into 200 constituencies, and their majority report says they support all the commissions before, that it's right that constituencies will be created, and that political parties have to identify their leaders, that voters can nominate their leaders and stand in their constituencies. And colleagues, it's really my experience. This is going to have the effect of 2 actual facts. The first thing is the young people in the commissions that I've sat in the last year have said, show us the leader, show us his values, and we will go to the polls to vote. Don't just put up a broomstick, meaning a political party, and we're going to just vote for that political party. And I have to make it very clear again on this webinar. Personally, I believe that political parties have and will always play a very important role in the country. Our move is not anti-political parties. However, we need to have a new system to attract new people, because there are many righteous remnant leaders that will not be part of a political party, but are leaders in their communities, are leaders in their constituencies and wanting to stand. And individuals like Thuli Madonsela, she will not play a role in governance if she has to be part of a political party, and many, many, many others. And so please pray as we go into a session of prayer that God will raise up and equip and train new leaders that are called. If you feel that hunch in your stomach, please be obedient and please stand up. And that makes me come to the whole essence of the local government election. It's unfortunate that many people, many individuals, political writers, academics, do not know of the breakthrough of the Concord judgment of last year, as well as the current bill in Parliament that needs to be passed. And the only way that we can do it is proof of concept, that we can show power to the people in the local government elections. And once again, a major breakthrough was identified by Section 15 of the Electoral Commissions Act that says for local government elections, you do not need to be part of a political party. You can form an organization and a movement of a collective, and we, the people, take over that municipality. Now, what do I mean take over that municipality? All I do is that if you are a leader and called and feel a hunch, if you don't feel that hunch, we're going to pray that hunch in today, by the way. No, I'm just joking, but we will, is that you will call in your municipality all stakeholders, business chambers, ratepayers association, taxi association, academics, school leaders, everybody, and you form an organization, and that community has got the right to choose its Springbok team to lead your municipality. The good news is we quite a way down the line. We should be around about 28 community forums formed in the municipalities. There's 237 municipalities in the country. Please, colleagues, my heart is, well, let me first tell you that the elections were supposed to be on the 27th of October. We honestly believe, because they've postponed the registration date that was supposed to be this weekend to the end of the month, that elections will be postponed and that it will take more or less in place in March next year. That works in our favor to mobilize the communities and local communities in all your municipalities, that we could achieve around about 100 community forums in the country out of 237, led by righteous remnant leaders. And we can do it. It's going to mean hard work, obedience, and that's why I'm coming now to end with the School of Governance, that with Gareth and Africa Mashlope, I'm very pleased that the School of Governance is going and has got training programs. And we have trained and equipped how you can be a candidate. How do you do fundraising? How do you do messaging? How do you speak to the media? But also equipping you on 11 foundational principles of what makes a righteous remnant leader. And so I'm encouraging you to be part of that School of Governance, to be part of the programs, to train and equip. Because one of the biggest things that obstacles that I do have, that most individuals says, Michael, what great work, but where are our leaders? Just by the way, they are there. They are on the score, and we need to mobilize and equip you. So colleagues, in closing, that's my heart. We are on a winning ticket. I could never say and will never say that what has happened in the last 48 hours is exactly what we have predicting, where we've seen the community standing up and realizing you cannot rely on government. You have to take power in your own hands, where community taxi associations, community security, community policing, they're the ones that have blocked the streets. They're the ones that have blocked the shopping centers. And the power has moved and has to move to the people on the ground for us to succeed in this nation. And last but not least, it's prayer, it's courage, it's obedience, exactly what we're doing. So I'm wanting to congratulate this forum on what you people are doing. We're fully behind you. This is our perfect time. This is our Kairos time, but it's going to need us to stand and be obedient and stand in the gap. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Michael. Wow. We are fired up, ready to go. Thank you so much, Michael. There was so much insight in what you shared, and thank you for the clarity. I think a lot of many of our questions have been answered. So, and if I can just add something, and many of you know I'm also a big proponent of this, and let me just say also, we're not against any political party. I mean, I'm so glad to have Steve Swart from the HCDP here with us on the call. This is about taking hands, righteous rulers, righteous leaders being raised up. So it's not against anything. It's for a better democracy, a more accountable governance. But a very important thing I just want to add to what Michael said, if the church don't respond to the leadership vacuum, one might say, or to this, when power is now moving to the people. Remember, there's systemic change. Power is now moving to the people because of all these changes. If the church don't step up and fill that vacuum, it will be filled by even more ungodly rulers, those who have complete different agendas. So it really is God opening up the door. So one of the key things, especially with the eye on the local elections, now that the elections will be postponed in all probability, is to register your communities as a community forum or a citizens association, your municipality, registered with the IEC. You will hear now when Zandile speaks, it's something that's so important because you can't just have the individual independent candidates. You need to have your municipalities registered with the IEC because of the PR votes and all the other things that go with it. so that you can't just have representatives in local government. You need to lead local government through a majority. And this is how it should be done. So, Michael, thank you so much. God bless you. And we are honored, honestly, to have you as one of our key leaders in the nation, showing us the way, inspiring so many people. And thank you for always your inclusive way in which you lead. You never exclude anyone. You don't make enemies. It is about a righteous purpose, and you stand for it. We are proud of you, Michael. Thank you so much.